Today on Jim Bob's greenhouse, I'm harvesting my potatoes. My sunflower has found a new home. My radishes have germinated. Tomatoes are starting to ripen. All of my succulent cuttings have taken. And I share some tips on what to do with spent compost and how to look after your vegetable beds. Hello everybody and welcome back to Jim Bob's greenhouse. Today I will be harvesting the potatoes. So first of all, I want to see if there's any foliage left. So for me, there isn't. There's some little potatoes here, so we'll take these out as well. Now, if there's a bit more foliage, it probably would be worth composting it. However, I'm just going to throw it away because you won't need it. Oh, I probably will compost it, but I'm going to throw it away in the back of the garden. So instantly I'm seeing some nice potatoes. Now, you might be tempted to use the trowel. Now, if you are, you're not wrong. However, you could easily slice through the potatoes if you're not careful. I just use my gloves. A decent pair of gloves will never wear out on the ends. If you just spend a little bit of money on your gloves, they'll never wear out on these ends. I've had these for ages. And they're only Wix's own. They're about £5 for a pair. You know, it pays. Quality does pay, but quality costs as well. So this is the first little potato. Nothing too big. I'm putting them in a little pot here. I just want to dig around looking for some. So there's some more here, as you can see. And these would be nice little new potatoes. You wouldn't use these for baking. You'd have these as nice new potatoes. So here's a nice one. As you can see, they are tiny because the variety Charlotte is smaller, and also you might find that your potatoes this year are small. Let me know in the comments below what you think, because it's been very hot this year and I think that's had a really bad effect on our potato crops. I'm not here to water them all the time, and potatoes are generally low maintenance plants, generally. So, here's a nice one. Yeah, so potatoes are generally low maintenance. They don't require a lot of attention, unlike other plants. However, they do require the essential water, light, although certain varieties require different levels of light, so others don't need as much. So what can you do? How can you use the potatoes that you've harvested from here in what dishes? So for example, this potato here, this would make an excellent new potato. Boiling it and just serving it with chicken, with some gravy, peas that you maybe got from your garden, or carrots this time of year. Definitely. So I'm just going to keep harvesting through here. So as you can see here, this is what I got from harvesting them. There's not really a lot here. And this is mainly down to the very, very dry summer that we have just had. If I could water them more, I would have. Believe me. And that's the key thing with potatoes, is that a lot of it is down to what the weather's doing at the time. So there were a few tiny potatoes, however, I'm not going to bother with these because they're too small. So now what? You're left with the spent compost. Is there something you can use it for? Of course there's something you can use it for. So, there's actually got a few things. The first and most obvious one would be to pile it up at the end of your garden with a load of other compost, mix some fish blood and bone with it, some leaves, and loads of other stuff, and add it to your compost heap. And that's a great thing. That's a great way to use this. However, you could also use this for sowing seeds, and some gardeners wouldn't recommend it. And that's because there is the chance of disease carryover, and you wouldn't really want that. However, seed sowing compost is expensive, and to be honest with you, this spent compost has rotted down enough where there's not actually too much nutrient left in them. So for sowing seeds, it would probably be alright, I think. The other thing you can use it for is using it for a multi-purpose again. And how does this work? So you can put it in a bag like this, mix in a load of fish blood and bone, or bone meal, or different nutrients. Let it all mix in after a while. And then you can reuse it again as a multi-purpose. However, there is the risk of disease carrying over. Again, multi-purpose is expensive, all compost is expensive. And so, in nature, I mean, if you know that there's a disease, or one of your plants that was growing and it had a disease, or, whatever, you wouldn't use it. So one thing that the potatoes have done to this compost is really break it down to a very fine, crumbly texture. Now that has actually helped us, because now you can use this compost, which is very, very fine, as you can see here, and mix in a load of fish blood and bone meal, or even chicken pellets, chicken manure pellets, and use it as a mature plant compost. A bit like a multi-purpose. You could also use this as a mulch. It would probably be okay as a mulch, however, I think there'd be better things, Wood chips always make a good mulch. Or you could just simply put this on your raised beds, to top up your raised beds, and you wouldn't need to add anything nutrient-wise to it. All the nutrients would just drop down into the raised beds, and there you go. So whatever you choose to do with it, never just bin it. I mean, just put it in, literally just put it in a bin bag and leave it out for the dustmen, you know what I mean? My sunflower has found a new home. So basically, for those who didn't know, this sunflower was in a hanging basket. And it wasn't looking the best, it was still quite short. So I put the whole hanging basket in here. As you can see, it's there's still some pansies seedlings just starting to come through. But it looks really nice now. So my radishes have germinated, which I'm really happy about. Here, these are sort of late crop radishes. My biggest fear was that I sewed them too tightly together, but it doesn't appear that I have. So that's really good. My tomatoes are starting to ripen in places. For example, up here. Got some nice juicy ones here, so we're hoping for them to ripen soon. I think they will do. I am not watering them as much now, nearly as much as I was. So we're hoping that these will germinate soon, which will be quite exciting to have my first crop ever, my first time ever growing tomatoes.